Good evening, everybody. It's a Tuesday afternoon. It's raining outside. Got the day off from work and school. I just thought we'd try a little something different. Been thrift shopping a lot lately. It's kind of nice, you know. You buy some old jackets from, Goodwill lately. Maybe pick up a couple cookbooks or some old mangas I need to finish up from Half Rice Books, and I came across a few gems. Gave me an idea for a couple videos to make. So, of course, me being me, this will be the first one out of these couple books I picked up that I do. And without further ado, alrighty. I had this as a kid, but I lost it in a house fire. I have not read it or had anything to do with it since. This will be my first time cracking this open in probably 20-something years. And I figured for excitement's sake, so that we understand our source material, I just have Mega Man 2 playing while I read the book. I mean, it's a fairly thin book, and I am a grown-ass man. Hopefully I can read this, but I thought I'd mix things up a little bit, and, my own playthrough of Mega Man 2, and it's from the Wily Wars. That's kind of really an underrated way to play Mega Man. Like, I can remember having the cartridge that you had to take the Blockbuster to copy, and I did have this physically. I don't know if it came from an import shop or not. I just know I had it in my house. So, I did play this on real hardware as a kid. For a while, I tried playing it again on an emulator, and I hated it. And that was early emulation days, and it's because the most of the dumps online are the European version, where it plays slower and the music is slower, but the with the recent release of the Sega Mini, we have like a proper dump of the American version again, and it actually plays like reasonably well. So once upon a time, Mega Man X was originally going to be Super Mega Man, as was the time with Super Nintendo games. You had Super Metroid, well, I guess Super Metroid, but if fucking Super Alfred Chicken is the one that always makes me laugh. Super Golf, Super Soccer, Super Tennis. So, but as the story goes, there was originally going to be Super Mega Man, where they just remade him, but then they had so much fun, like they were testing like the designs of like, well, how should Super Mega Man look? And it eventually just turned into Mega Man X. But when you play the Wily Wars, and you get to see Mega Man 1, 2, 3, and the bonus levels they made, when you get to see them in 16-bit graphics, that's kind of what I imagined that the Super Mega Man would look like, if there ever was one. So, without further ado, let's read this goddamn book already. This book is dedicated to Jerry, the original Mega Man. "Welcome, welcome," said Dr. Light, smiling as he opened the door for Mega Man. The lab pretty much looked the same as it always had. Beakers bubbled over as they boiled away on flaming burners. Bubbles rose through clear pipes, pushing red, yellow, and green liquids through a network of crazy plumbing. Are you describing a pipette? That's not how a pipette works. Or maybe a distillation machine? Huge machines covered with lights pulsed and beeped as information spread through their circuits. Reams of paper were being spewed out, each page covered with numbers, letters, graphs, and formulas. For what? For what purpose? Is it a spectrometer? Are you trying to look at a spectrometer? I think. Dr. Light was always working on 100 different things at once. "Mega Man!" said Dr. Light. "I hate to tell you the news, but—" I know, said Mega Man. "I saw it on the news beam. It's the future, so it's the news beam. Dr. Wily is back. I thought we had destroyed him. God damn, murder? But I guess he's stronger than we imagined." Dr. Light nodded. "And this time he's created 8 of the most terrible robots ever built. Anyone who wants to capture Dr. Wily, misspelled, has to get past each of the robots first." He looked at Mega Man. "You have fought many battles, Mega Man." He fought one. "And you have won them all. You may be invincible. You are the finest superhero robot I have ever built." Mega Man would have blushed if his circuits had been programmed for that activity. He was programmed to be the perfect son, so... would they? That was kind of a plot point in Mega Man 9. At the end of Mega Man 9, you go to the captured Dr. Light, and there's a fake man robot holding him hostage. And Proto Man is like, "Yo, little bro, that ain't Dr. Light." And Mega Man is like sitting there like does not compute. He's like, "No, that's totally Dr. Light. I have to save him because I mean he's just, you know, Mega Man X has independent thought, but the original Mega Man doesn't. He's programmed to be the perfect little boy and nothing else." "But I don't know why you'd be able to fight to Dr. Wily alone," continued the doctor. "From what I understand, these robots are capable of the highest level of fighting ever imagined. And even if you do make it past them, you still have to fight your way into Dr. Wily's castle. And who knows what creatures he's programmed to protect him there." Mega Man nodded. He didn't look afraid. As he waited to hear what Dr. Light would say next, he thought about the past. A few hours earlier, he had been back in his comfortable little sweet home in the tiny village nestled in the mountain valley. Is he talking about the ending? He had been watching the news beam when his permanently attached proton beeper, oh my god, beepers, had gone off. Its red light flashed as it beeped, no apostrophe in its. That meant that Dr. Light was trying to reach him. Mega Man had tuned in on the doctor on the video screen. "Mega Man, please report at once to my laboratory," Dr. Light had said urgently. Mega Man had looked around his comfortable home and paused for a moment. There was no choice. He was a robot. He had to obey his creator. Dr. Light was just as smart as Dr. Wily, misspelled. But he had used his genius for good, not for evil. He had vowed long ago to do everything in his power to protect the universe from destruction. Dr. Wily had become his main enemy. When Dr. Light first created Mega Man, he hadn't intended to make him a superhero robot. Mega Man was originally created as a tool-using robot. He was small, but he was the best using tool-using robot ever made. I guess they couldn't have editors in the 80s. He would be able to fix anything using any kind of tool ever invented. He was programmed so that any tool put into his hands would automatically be used in the most effective and efficient way possible. But soon after Mega Man was built, Dr. Light began to fear for the universe. Much evil was at work, stemming from the mind of the fiendish Dr. Wily. Quickly, Dr. Light made some changes in his robot. First, he had programmed him to think of nothing but pure good, to seek out evildoers and to always fight on the side of truth and justice. Next, he upgraded Mega Man's tool-using capabilities to include all existing and all imaginable weapons. Mega Man, the superhero robot, had been created. And what a robot he was. He fought every single villain he fought up against, fought them all to the finish. Or so he'd thought. Now it looked like Dr. Wily had come back to life. This narrator thing is killing me. And this time he was more evil than ever. Mega Man had turned his attention back to Dr. Light. "And so, Mega Man," said the doctor, "I have decided to clone you." What? "To copy your circuits and create another Mega Man. 2 of you together ought to be able to get the job done." Wow. Yeah, he does need help if he's sucking as bad as I am. Ah, jeez, I need to replay this, actually. Mega Man nodded. He wasn't sure if this idea would work, but he was a robot. He had to obey his creator. "Okay, Dr. Light," he said. "How do we do it?" Dr. Light gestured towards the back of the laboratory. Mega saw a huge, freestanding box with open doors. A control panel on its side was blinking madly, flashing red and yellow lights. "My latest invention," he said proudly. "The Robo-Transometer XZ4000 with cloning capability." Oh, I think I had a toaster like that. He led Mega Man to the door. "Please step inside," he said. "This won't hurt a bit, and when I open the door, there will be two of you." You know, Mega Man 2. Mega Man walked into the box, and Dr. Light shut the door behind him. It was dark in there, and then the box began to shake. Mega Man reached out and tried to hold on to the walls as the quaking increased. There was a series of loud, booming sounds, followed by a crash of metal on metal. Something screeched, and a bell rang. Sirens sounded, whooping wildly in the total darkness. Mega Man fell to the shaking floor and was still. I feel like this would be a perfect day to practice my Gary Owens. Powdered Toast Man. Let's make this as annoying as possible. Here, let me start by getting out of the way of the box so you can see my smart ass. But the door of the Robo-Transometer swung open, letting in a stream of light. Mega Man stirred. His head hurt. "My head hurts," he said. "What?" shouted Dr. Light. "You're a robot. You're impervious to pain." Dr. Light charged past Mega Man and searched the interior of the box. "And why is there still only one of you?" "I don't know," answered Mega Man, "but my head really does hurt." Dr. Light approached Mega Man and examined his forehead. "No wonder it hurts. You have a nasty bruise." I can't even keep my voices straight. Then his mouth fell open. "A bruise?" Dr. Light looked puzzled. "Robots don't bruise." "What have I done?" He thought for a moment, and then pinched Mega Man on the arm hard. Oh my god. I think they're actually trying to, justify the cover art. It just hit me. "Ouch!" yelled Mega Man. "Why did you do that?" "I was checking something, and I think I've found the answer," said Dr. Light. "Come with me." He led Mega Man to another machine and hooked him up to it by attaching electrodes to Mega Man's neck. He watched the monitor closely as it blinked and flashed, showing formula after formula on the screen. I just saw the next paragraph. Then the monitor went blank for a moment. When it came back on, spelled out across the face of the screen were the words, "Positive identification confirmed. Subject is human." You could have just used like a heart monitor or stethoscope. No scientist has this fucking dumb shit laying around. Mega Man blinked and looked again. He couldn't believe it. He wasn't a robot anymore. He was alive. Dr. Light turned to him and smiled. "How does it feel, Mega Man?" he asked. Mega Man couldn't answer. He was still in shock. "It was a mistake, I admit it. I must have just pushed the wrong sequence of buttons. But I think it will work out anyway," said Dr. Light. "According to the printout here, you have retained your full robot memory and will be able to function just as well as you always have in battle." "But..." Mega Man stumbled over the words. "Am I still invincible?" Who played Mega Man and thought Mega Man was invincible? There was no fucking mercy invincibility in the first game. You could, get hit by 50 things and get sucked into a hole. Maybe if you're a badass speedrunner, Mega Man looks invincible, but when I was 7, no way in hell. Dr. Light paused. His smile faded. "I don't know. I certainly hope so. There's no way to be sure." He put his hand on Mega Man's shoulder. "You just have to be extra careful." Mega Man felt something he never felt before. It was a strange feeling, and it made him jumpy. Dr. Light slowly moved his hand. The feeling was fear. It was a feeling he'd have to put behind him if he wanted to defeat Dr. Wily. He gathered himself together and faced Dr. Light head-on. "I'm ready for my mission," he said. "Do you have a briefing for me on my robot enemies?" Dr. Light looked down at Mega Man. He paused. "I know what you're thinking," said Mega Man. "You think now that I'm human, my size might work against me. You think I'm too small to do the job." I mean, he's like the same size as the two robots on the cover. Dr. Light shook his head. "I might have thought that for a moment, but I have confidence in you," he said. "You may be small, but you're tough and you're determined. Man, let's rise up! Step into my office and I'll tell you everything I know about Dr. Wily's robots." Spelled correctly this time. Mega Man followed Dr. Light into his office and listened intently while the man explained how to fight each of the robots. Well, why isn't Dr. Light's old ass going out there? "Mega Man, in order to reach Dr. Wily," now it's misspelled again, "you have to destroy his 8 robot guardians. Metal Man, Flash Man, Bubble Man, Air Man, Crash Man, Heat Man, Wood Man, and Quick Man. Each robot lives in a different weird world." No, it's all in Monstropolis. "And some of the robots have henchmen to do their dirty work. You'll have to battle them as well. I'll still be in contact with you through your proton beeper," finished Dr. Light. "I'll be following all your activities. When you're ready to leave one robot's empire and enter another, I'll give you the password." "Okay then, Dr. Light," said Mega Man. "I'm off. It sounds as if I should start with Metal Man. On what grounds?" He shook the doctor's hand. "Wish me luck." Chapter 3. Oh, I guess I should point out the chapter. Crash! Boom! Bang, 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 bang! The noise was so loud that Mega Man could barely hear himself think. He looked around. So this was Metal Man's world. Everywhere he looked, Mega Man saw machinery working, and all of the machinery was loud. Pistons pumped, coils uncoiled, and springs sprung. Cogs turned and wheels revolved, and then there were the gears. Hundreds of them. No, thousands, as far as Mega Man could see. Giant gears with teeth the size of refrigerators. The gears gnashed their teeth together, grinding with a noise louder than the loudest chainsaw. Mega Man winced. His ears hurt terribly, which was a new feeling for him. He wanted to put his hands over them to protect them from the noise, but he knew he had to be ready to defend himself. And how could he fire his mega gun with his hands over his ears? Oh yeah, they really are going with the cover art, aren't they? But here's the thing. They censored out the gun. So, he has no mega gun. He's just asking Quick Man for a fucking fist bump. And actually, in Mega Man 1 through 3, it was the plasma cannon. It didn't officially become the Mega Buster until Mega Man 4. And actually, what we know as the Mega Buster is now the Super Mega Buster as of Mega Man 5. Because in Mega Man 4, Dr. Light made the Mega Buster, which could be charged up, but the problem is it just shot this little, like... And then in Mega Man 4 on the Game Boy, it was tuned up to fire bigger shots, but pushed you back. And then so, as the lore goes, as an apology for his actions in Mega Man 4, not only did Dr. Cossack build Beat, but he helped Dr. Light to fine-tune the Mega Buster. It was the Super Mega Buster in Mega Man 4 on the Game Boy, because each Mega Man game on the Game Boy takes place in between an NES game. So, like, Dr. Wily's Revenge takes place between 1 and 2. Mega Man 2 takes place between 2 and 3, so on and so forth. And, so... the charge shot in Mega Man 4 on the Game Boy is the Super Mega Buster, and then as of Mega Man 5 onward, Dr. Light and Dr. Cossack worked together to fine-tune the Mega Buster into the Hyper Mega Buster, which was the larger shot without the recoil. And there's your nerdy lore dump. I don't even remember where I was. Oh, here it is. Is he just not wearing his helmet? How would he cover his ears? Mega Man shook his head and tried to ignore the noise. He must move on. He must seek out and destroy Metal Man. That was his mission. That's why he was here. He started to walk, balancing across the top of a huge machine that pumped out steel parts. Crash! Crash! Mega Man wasn't doing very well at tuning out the noise. Then he looked up and saw something that made him forget the din? Forget the din completely? There was a huge iron weight dropping down onto him, fast! It looked like it weighed at least 3 tons, and the bottom, the part that Mega Man was looking up at, was covered in giant spikes. Mega Man jumped and ran ahead as fast as he could. The weight crashed down behind him. He sighed with relief. This must be Dr. Wily's doing, said Mega Man as he dodged the weights. Well, he won't get me so easily. He ran even faster, turning almost as invisible as he ran between the weights. Then he spied a conveyor belt, rolling along between the clamorous machines. Clamorous, I guess. He jumped onto it. He needed a rest. The belt carried him along, past huge machines that set off sparks as they pounded metal into new shapes. The noise was overwhelming. As soon as he felt refreshed, Mega Man jumped off the conveyor belt and started to run through the maze of machinery. The belt just wasn't fast enough. He needed to find Metal Man. Mega Man ran fast, his head down. Suddenly, he crashed into a pile of barrels. He leapt over them and kept on running. Another pile of barrels tripped him up. Picking himself up, he realized he'd better watch where he was going. He kept moving quickly, but kept an eye out for more barrels. He found that he could dodge most of them, and the rest he destroyed with his mega guns. The noise was getting louder. It was thunderous. It was deafening. Yay. Then Mega Man saw a huge tower with a big W on it. Dr. Light had told him to watch for the tower. The W stood for Wumbo. Mega Man knew he must be getting closer to Mega Man's secret lair, the center of his empire. Sure enough, Mega Man soon came up against a huge iron door. I thought they were like garage shutters. What did you think they were when you were a kid? I always thought they were like garage shutters. I hated when the I think it was Powered Up on PSP made them into like sliding doors. I did like Star Trek doors. I didn't like that. But and if you didn't slide through it or jump through it, we're not fucking friends. I'm so mad that 11 doesn't let you jump through it. Sure enough, Mega Man soon came up against a huge iron door. He just knew that Metal Man must be behind it. He pounded on it with his fists. He kicked it as hard as he could, but it just stayed shut. Finally, he pulled out his Mega Gun and took aim at the lock. He fired and the door swung open. Mega Man entered and the door slammed shut behind him with a huge crash. Obviously, they bought their doors from the same place the Space Pirates did. He walked through a few feet only to find himself in front of another huge door. This time, he didn't even pause. He fired away at the lock, ran in, and let the door slam behind him. He looked to his right and to his left. This must be Metal Man's lair. But where was the evil robot? He heard a noise behind him and whirled around. "Eat steel, Mini-Man!" sneered the crafty robot. Now, what was his voice in the cartoon? Didn't he sound like really cool? Well, let me I guess that might be his only one. "Eat steel, Mini-Man," sneered the crafty robot. Metal Man was about as tall as Mega Man, but he was wrapped in shiny stainless steel. Every corner of his armor gleamed. Wrapped around his head was a garland of sharp steel spikes. Mega Man ducked as Metal Man fired whirling steel blades at him. The blades cut through the air with the sound of cold metal. Mega Man aimed his Mega Gun and fired back. The shots just grazed the awesome metal-plated body of the evil robot. Even this book knows how fucking cool Metal Man is. Metal Man hurled more blades, but this time Mega Man jumped to avoid them and fired back while he was still hovering in the air. Pow! A hit! Metal Man staggered, then regained his balance. But before the robot could shoot more blades, Mega Man fired again, jumped over him, and fired once more. Pow! Blam! Metal Man exploded into a million gears, cogs, and flywheels. Flywheels, wow. Fucking Metal Man's a hoopty. Mega Man just stood there and grinned. "I always knew you were nothing but a heap of junk, Metal Man," he said with a smile. He grabbed the metal blade, Metal Man's weapon, from where it lay on the ground. Then he beeped Dr. Light. He was ready to move on to the next robot empire. Just those crispy yellow pages. Oof. Chapter 4. Can we just cut the bullshit? I did this to myself. I'm sorry. Mega Man heard Dr. Light over the radio that was built into his helmet. Is it a radio? Is it a beeper? Can we make up our fucking minds? Dr. Light was cheering. "All right, Mega Man. Good work," he said. "I watched the whole thing on my monitor." "And now you've got the metal blade," he went on. "Terrific. That's a precious weapon. It's the only way it'll have effect on any of Dr. Wily's robots," spelled correctly. "Where to next, Dr. Light?" asked Mega Man. "There's no question about it," asked the doctor. "I'm going to key in the password for Flashman's Empire. Ready?" Mega Man nodded. "Good luck then. Here you go." The doctor's voice faded out. You know, when I was a kid, I actually always started with Flashman because he was the easiest one for me. Mega Man looked around. Flashman's Empire was not a pleasant place. It was cold, a damp kind of cold, and gloomy. A dim blue light washed around his surroundings. Mega Man saw that he was in the midst of a group of old, ruined buildings. I guess that's one way. I always thought it was like a crystal cave. He would have to find his way through them, but the going would be treacherous. Loose bricks lay every which way, and tall towers looked like they were about to topple. Mega Man checked his energy level. Dr. Light had supplied him with energy pellets, the same kind he had taken when he was a robot. Dr. Light had told him to make sure he kept his energy high. He took 2 pellets, since his reading was a little low. Then he checked his weapons and headed out. It was a relief to be out of the banging, clashing world of Metal Man. But Flashman's world was just a little too quiet. Mega Man listened hard. He couldn't hear a thing. There was total silence. Yeah, tell me about it, right? Suddenly, a loud stomping noise shattered the quiet. Mega Man looked around wildly. Where was the noise coming from? He couldn't see a thing. Then he looked up, just in time to see a giant foot about to smash down on top of him. How fucking Mega Manlet? Everything is like above him. Mega Man put on a burst of speed and ran out from under the robot's foot. When he had gone a safe distance, he turned to look back. This was the most gigantic robot Mega Man had ever seen. It was 10 times his size, towering above him on massive legs. Its feet were like the size of a small car, and his legs were like silos. "That must be Mr. Big," said Mega Man. "I am Mr. Big." "Dr. Light warned me about him. He's one of Flashman's helpers." Stomp! Stomp! Mr. Big kept coming straight at Mega Man. Oh my god, he has a voice. He's now Hank Hill. "Prepare to be flattened," he roared. Mega Man looked around desperately. The robot was coming towards him so fast he didn't even have a chance to fire. Then he spotted a tiny crack in the broken-down brick wall behind him. "Aha!" he said. "This is one time I'm as happy to be as little as I am." The huge robot reached out to grab him, but Mega Man jumped into the crack just in time. Is he like a foot tall? Like, oh, hey, speak of the devil. We're in Flashman's level now. But, a crack? Is Mega Man, like, is he like a Picori from, like, Zelda or something? Like, oh my god, here we go. Mr. Big stopped and looked around. The giant robot was confused. Mega Man figured he must have looked as tiny as a mouse to the robot. And now he was just like a little mouse who disappeared into his hole. Mr. Big shrugged and stomped off in the other direction. Mega Man took a moment to check his weapon's energy levels and gear them up. Then he took off after the robot, leaping from brick to brick between the big buildings. Mega Man moved quietly, sneaking up on the stomping robot from behind. When at a clear shot, he fired the metal blade. That's actually a lie. Hold on. No, you... Okay, so Mega Man kills this thing with the metal blades. You can't. It's talking about the Sniper Joe walkers. You cannot kill one of these with a metal blade. So this guy is a liar! He was probably playing on normal difficulty. More like casual difficulty. Am I right? Mega Man fired again. The robot turned to come after Mega Man, but his main circuits had been damaged. Mega Man fired one more time, and this time Mr. Big fell down and didn't move again. The blades fired from the metal blade had cut through the robot's giant legs as if they were butter. Mega Man looked at the fallen robot. "You may be so big," he said, "but you know what they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall." And that's a check. Mega Man knew he had to keep moving. He had to find Flashman. He ran past the robot's fallen body and spotted an elevator moving up the wall of one of the tallest buildings. "This will make my trip so much faster," he said, hopping on. You spend most of the level falling down. Where did he get up from? He rode the elevator to the very top, hopped off, and ran through the building. At the end of a hallway, he spotted an energy barrel. It was marked with a big E on its side. E-tanks. Dr. Light had told him he would see these along the way. Each barrel contained nutrients and vitamins. The same kind of quick energy he would keep in his pellets. Actually, if you want quick energy, you have to go with carbohydrates, motherfucker. As long as he kept finding barrels, he could keep his energy level up. Mega Man grabbed the barrel and powered up. Then he kept on running. I guess you could say he Mega Man powered up. Suddenly, the air in front of him was filled with flying boomeroids. Little boomerang-shaped robots that... Tellies? Little boomerang-shaped robots that Dr. Light had told him to watch out for. They seemed to be self-propelled. Mega Man ducked and dodged, firing back with the metal blade. Even this guy uses nothing but the metal blade. Let's be fucking real. What a great weapon! What a great weapon! Yes! The metal blade is a great weapon. The boomeroids blew into tiny pieces as Metal Blade's flying blades cut them down. Mega Man looked up ahead. There was a giant tower with a big W. He knew he was almost there. Mega Man came to an iron gate. He used his super strength to lift it, and it rolled up and slammed back down once he was through. Another gate blocked his path, but that didn't even slow Mega Man down. Suddenly, Flashman appeared in front of him, dashing around and firing rapidly. Mega Man had never seen anything move so fast, and each time Flashman fired, something strange happened. As each shot left Flashman's weapon, Mega Man found himself frozen in his tracks. But Mega Man activated the auto-fire mechanism in his metal blade to fire again and again. This pussy used a fucking Pro Turbo controller. And then it was over. Flashman was destroyed. "You've got to be more than just a flash in the pan to beat me," said Mega Man, smiling. Game hint. To kill Airman, carefully jump the tornadoes to get close to him. Chapter 5 is alive. 2 down, 6 to go, said Mega Man into his radio. "That's right, Mega Man," answered Dr. Light. "But please be more careful. I thought you were done for when Mr. Big attacked." Wow, right as I died, too. I couldn't have timed that better. "He just talks big, and Flashman was no problem. These super robots at Dr. Wily's aren't so tough if you know how to fight him," said Mega Man, boasting a little. "Did you get Flashman's time stopper?" asked Dr. Light. "What a weapon! Just freezes your enemies in place." "Got it," answered Mega Man, holding it up so that Dr. Light... I always liked how the Hitoshi Ariga comics handled it. In Hitoshi Ariga, Flashman's weapon is like... it's already all of the parts of his body that he just kind of like shing and hits you with. But in the Ariga manga, Ariga, I'm sorry, but in the Megamix manga, it was actually Flashman hitting you with a... Oh, by the way, there's a Mr. Big. Hitting you with a burst of light that like fries your CPU temporarily, and that's how he stops time, because he just freezes who he attacks. And if I remember correctly, Quickman's weapon works the same way, but it's not as concentrated. It's like flashing all over to... if he blinds you, he gives you the illusion of moving quickly. "Good," said Dr. Light. You'll need it. He paused for a moment, checking over his notes. It looks like your next battle will be with Bubble Man. I don't know where this guy's going. He needs to check the Mega Man homepage and learn the weapon order like everyone else did. Ready, Mega Man answered. And Dr. Light's voice was gone. Static was all Mega Man could hear over the radio. Mega Man looked down. He was hovering over water. There was water everywhere, as far as he could see. Frantic, he kicked with his feet and waved his arms, moving through the air until he was over a wooden pier. Is he fucking Bugs Bunnying this shit? He landed running. He was going to have to keep his wits about him in the Bubble Man world. The water lapped against the pier he was running on. Mega Man wasn't ready to start swimming, not yet. But suddenly he ran out of pier. Some Tex Avery fucking shit. When I get big enough that this video blows off, I want somebody to draw some like rubberneck flesher Mega Man doing this shit. Mega Man left off the end of the pier and jumped into the next one. He kept on running. Then up ahead, he saw a giant frog. It was huge and green and very mean looking. That must be Croaker. Dr. Light had warned him about the Croaker. This was one of Bubble Man's fiendish helpers. Mega Man tried to run past Croaker. Just then, Croaker opened his mouth. Ribbit. Ribbit. He croaked. That's the loudest frog I ever heard, said Mega Man. Then he noticed something. Every time Croaker said, Ribbit, 5 little Croakers jumped out of his mouth. And the little Croakers headed straight for Mega Man. He was surrounded. Mega Man grabbed his... Oh, see, just in time. Mega Man grabbed his Mega Gun and fired away. It had no effect. Bullshit! Neither did the Time Stopper. These croakers must be immune. Try ignoring this, Mega Man said, firing the metal blade. Blades flew in every direction if you're a fucking asshole wailing on the D-pad. Each shot destroyed at least 3 of the miniature croakers. Mega Man kept firing until he'd gotten past croakers safely. Finally, he was out of range. Mega Man was running hard, looking over his shoulder to make sure that Croaker wasn't following him. Who bust out from a frog, man? I'm coming to get you, Mega Man. Here I come. You better be ready. I'm recently divorced and I'm really angry. Suddenly, he tripped off the end of the pier he was running on. I thought we ran out of pier a page ago, but whatever. Fell head over heels right into the water. Chapter 6. Mega Man fell through the water, drifting deeper and deeper. This was awful. He didn't even know if he'd be able to swim. As a robot, he'd been a terrific swimmer. What would he still know now that he was human? He tried a few underwater strokes and discovered he could swim just as well as he ever had. His helmet kept the water out. Phew, he said. Lucky for me. Oh, remember, yeah. We're going off of the biker helmet there in our Mega Man. Then up ahead, Mega Man saw 3 Crabots. These tiny robots looked like tiny ugly crabs. They rode along on little wheels, their shells protecting them as they fired at the superhero robot. Mega Man fired back with the metal blade. It was the only weapon he had that seemed to work underwater. The shell flew at the first Crabot, revealing the wheels below. Mega Man fired again until even the wheels were destroyed. Then he aimed and fired, again and again, until he had taken care of the other Crabots. Mega Man was swimming backwards as he fired, so he didn't see a huge tunnel until he had fallen into it. He was sucked down a pipe so fast he could hardly catch his breath. Here's my question. If there was a Mario book, would he talk about, and then Mario stepped on a Goomba, and then he stepped on a Koopa, and then he stepped on another Goomba? Mega Man took a wild ride through a whole network of pipes. First he was upside down, then he was downside up. Then he whirled around so much that soon he didn't know where he was. Then the pipe spit him out as suddenly as it sucked him in. Mega Man was very dizzy. He looked around, trying to get his bearings. Which way was Bubble Man? Mega Man couldn't wait to get out of this super robot's wet, wet world. Or even a wet, dry world, you might say. He started to swim again, hoping he was going in the right direction. Then, over a huge tower again, with the initial W. Below the tower were the gates to Bubble Man's lair. Mega Man swam through the gates. Bubble Man was waiting. Oh no. Mega Blurble Man, he cried. How, Gurgle, dare you enter my King Burbledum? Bubbleman's armor was green, and he had webbed hands and webbed feet, just like a frog. He wore a special helmet that looked like a scuba mask. You could have just said he wore a scuba mask. He fired his bubble lead straight at Mega Man. A huge bubble of molten lead rolled right at him. See, this motherfucker gets it. At least he understands. Mega Man jumped and dodged. It was hard to move quickly underwater. Mega Man aimed his metal blade and fired. This dude knows, man. Bubbleman slid to the left, and dodged to the right, and dodged the flying blade. Even Skip is like over here listening. Bubbleman laughed. You'll never blorble get me, Mega Bubbleman, he said. He fired his bubble lead again. A tiny bubble flew out. Tiny bubbles. Growing as it moved through the water, it got bigger and bigger and bigger as it came towards Mega Man. This time, Mega Man couldn't move quickly enough to dodge it. The now huge, heavy bubble rolled right over him, squashing him flat and knocking all the air out of him. You know what's worse than a giant bubble lead? 2 giant bubble leads. Mega Man laid still. Bubbleman gloated. Got bubble you, Mega Blurble Man, he laughed. Dr. Wily Borble will be proud of me, Gobble. There was a faint beeping inside Mega Man's helmet. Dr. Light's voice came through. Mega Man! Mega Man! The doctor yelled. Come in, Mega Man! Dr. Light sounded frantic. Mega Man blinked. I knew you weren't dead, said Dr. Light, but he didn't sound so sure. No! Take an energy pellet and get your metal blade ready. The energy pellet took effect at once. Mega Man burst into action. He aimed the metal blade straight at Bubbleman and fired over and over. Bubbleman tried to get out of range, climbing the giant net that decorated his lair, but it was too late. Mega Man couldn't be stopped. It was horrible. I'll never forget the night Mega Man came. Within 2 seconds, Bubbleman had been destroyed. Mega Man picked up the bubble lead. He beeped Dr. Light. Dr. Light, he said when his radio lit up. Thanks. I thought it was all over for me. Oh, you would have been fine, said Dr. Light. But I'm glad I could help out. Are you ready to take on your next horrible villain? Mega Man felt full of energy. Finishing off Bubbleman had made him feel invincible. Is this asshole seriously having trouble with Bubbleman? Sure, he said. All right, said Dr. Light. It's time to meet Airman. Game hint. Use the jet ski to get over the lava. Did I? I don't know. And it's item 2, asshole. Chapter 7. Mega Man couldn't see a thing. He was surrounded by damp, misty, white fog. He beeped for Dr. Light. Where am I, Dr. Light? He asked. Sounds like England. The doctor didn't answer. There was just a lot of static coming over the radio. Mega Man heard what sounded like a weather report. He listened hard. When it was over, Mega Man thought for a moment. High winds, gales, hurricanes likely, tornado warnings for all areas. Sounds like stormy weather ahead. Then he knew where he was. He was in Airman's empire, and he was standing in the middle of a cloud. He started to run, following a pathway that appeared beneath his feet. Finally, he found his way out of the cloud into a blue, blue sky, with plenty of other fluffy white clouds everywhere. It was beautiful, but Mega Man felt a shiver of fear. He wasn't used to being so high up. Suddenly, his walkway ended. Mega Man looked around. Everywhere he looked, he saw blue, blue sky and fluffy white clouds. Everywhere it is, except straight ahead of him. Straight ahead of him was a cloud climber. What a strange creature. Oh, you mean like those Oni heads? Its huge red face frowned at Mega Man. Spikes grew out of the top of his flat head, then disappeared, then grew again. Mega Man knew there was only one way for him to go. He'd have to jump right onto the floating cloud climber and use it as a stepping stone. He watched and waited until the spikes went in his way. Then he jumped and ran across the flat top of the cloud climber. The cloud climber was furious. The frown on its face turned into a scowl, and miniature cloud climbers began to pop out of its ears. They swarmed over to Mega Man, surrounding him. He felt trapped. He had nowhere to go. There was only one thing to do. He'd have to fight them off. Bam! Pow! Mega Man fired. The miniature cloud climbers turned into puffs of smoke. Mega Man breathed a sigh of relief. He couldn't stop to rest, though. He had to keep moving if he was going to find Airman. Mega Man jumped quickly to another large cloud climber, running fast, and then to another. Mega Man was on his way. Then Mega Man heard a loud chopping noise. He looked up. Above him was a Robo-Chimp. What a strange creature. Half monkey, half helicopter. It rode through the air on a thunder chariot, a puffy white cloud equipped with a platform to stand on, and a superpowered propeller underneath. The Robo-Chimp fired tiny, deadly-looking missiles. It's throwing thunderbolts, idiot. Mega Man ducked behind a cloud. When the Robo-Chimp flew by, Mega Man knocked off his thunder chariot and jumped aboard. "This is the only way to go," said Mega Man, sailing along happily through the sky. His cloud started to sink, so Mega Man switched thunder chariots to keep going. Kaboom! Mega Man whirled around to see a bomb falling very close behind him. He looked up. The bomb had been dropped by a bomb bird, a fat, bird-like robot flying overhead. That's body shaming. Mega Man fired back at the bomb bird, but he couldn't tell if he got it or not. Suddenly, the thunder chariot Mega Man was riding on dived into a huge cloud. Once again, Mega Man was lost in the mists. He couldn't see a thing. Chapter 8. The cold, clammy mist surrounded Mega Man, closing in on him. He didn't like the feeling at all. If he had still been a robot... I need some water, man. Holy shit. If he had still been a robot, it probably wouldn't have bothered him. But he wasn't a robot. He was human. And he hated the way the mist got into his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Most of all, though, he hated the way it blinded him. He heard flying creatures overhead, but he couldn't see shit. That meant he couldn't aim his metal blade, and if he couldn't aim, there was no point in firing. Mega Man couldn't wait to get out of the cloud he was in. Finally, the mist began to thin. Soon, Mega Man was back out into the blue, blue sky. Can you just say blue sky? You need two blues, and you come up with something else. You say the azure sky, the cyan sky, the beautiful sunset, just goddamn anything but blue, blue sky. Now when the bomb birds attacked, Mega Man fired right back. Blam! Kapow! The bomb birds were destroyed, and the bombs fell harmlessly into the clouds below. Mega Man smiled. Good. You know, killing small animals is like the sign of a serial killer. Airman's henchmen were no match for him. But then his smile faded. Mega Man gulped. Up ahead was a nasty-looking creature with quickly spinning blades set in the middle. It grinned at him as its blades spun faster and faster. The Fan Fiend! I like the 50s comic book shit this has going on. Suddenly, Mega Man was knocked off his feet by hurricane-force winds. The Fan Fiend drew closer, blowing hard. Mega Man toppled off his thunder chariot and fell. Down, down, down! Where was he going to land? Whomp! The swamps. His fall was broken as he fell right onto a nearby highway. He ran along the walkway, dodging little clouds that seemed to be trying to trip him up. Then he saw past it, parting the mist. A huge tower with a gigantic glowing W blinking on and off. He was almost there. Mega Man blasted through the gates that led to Airman's inner chamber and came face to face with his enemy. Airman was the scariest looking superhero robot that Mega Man had ever seen. Maybe it was the Ruby Spears one. It wasn't that he was big. It wasn't that he was strong looking. It was his mouth. His mouth was a huge gaping hole that took in air and blew out terrible gusts. Even though he was a robot, his body seemed like it was made of clouds. No. Shut up. He's like a giant box fan in a gym. As he moved, wisps of fog evaporated off his pointed shoulders. Miniature tornadoes flew through the air, pointing their tails right at Mega Man. Is it the pointed part that's the destruction, or is it the funnel? Or... As you'd think they'd want, like, the funnel to hit him to suck him in. You know what I'm... Alright. Airman stood with his back against the wall, spitting out hundreds of tornadoes. Well, then he wouldn't be able to get... Okay. Demolishing you will be a breeze, Mega Man, he shouted. Mega Man dodged the tornadoes. He tried to get closer to Airman, but every time he approached, a tornado would knock him down and spin him around. Mega Man grit his teeth and kept on coming. Finally, he was within range. He aimed the metal blade and fired. Fucking... Whoosh! Splat! All the air was let out of Airman, and he collapsed like a popped balloon. The wind died down at once. "I guess it's gonna be a nice day around here after all," said Mega Man. He helped himself to Airman's air shooter, a large cannon that fired tornadoes. Then he noticed Airman's jet ski, sort of a snowball, or a snowmobile that floated on a cushion of air. He took that too. It's like a flying jet board, man. You ever watched Silver Surfer? Come on. Then he sat down to rest on a nearby cloud, his legs dangling over the side. "Come in, Dr. Light," he said into his radio. "Come in." Chapter 9. For a minute, Mega Man heard only static. Then, through crackles and pops, he heard Dr. Light. "Congratulations, Mega Man," the doctor said. "You really stood up against that guy." "Yeah, fuck that guy." "Oh, he was just full of hot air," said Mega Man modestly. That is the least modest thing I have ever heard. "Are you sure you want to go on with this mission?" said Dr. Light. "What kind of question is that?" yelled Mega Man. "Of course I do. Why shouldn't I?" "Well," said Dr. Light, "it just seems like each super robot is more dangerous than the one before, and each one has so many helpers. I'm worried about you. We don't talk anymore." "Come on, Dr. Light," said Mega Man. "I can take care of myself." He paused. Dr. Light cleared his throat. "Well," he said, "Dr. Wily made an announcement over the news beam this morning. He's not too happy about you destroying 4 of his robots." "What did he say?" asked Mega Man. "I recorded it for you on my VCR," Dr. Light said. "Wait a minute and I'll play it back." There was a whirring sound, and soon Mega Man heard Dr. Wily's voice. "So should I do, like, the tried and true, the Scott McNeil, Ruby Spears? Or should I do, like, the new voice from 11? I got to meet Scott McNeil once at a convention, and it was awesome because, like, the best kind of voice actors are the ones who, they obviously love their fans. And Scott McNeil was just walking around in the hallways. He was giving hugs. He was giving high fives. He was he didn't even care, man. One of the funniest stories I've ever heard from a voice actor came from Scott McNeil. He was telling a story about how he played an extra on Supernatural, and he played an extra on Supernatural, and he was painting houses that day. And he showed up to the set, and he was like, "Okay, should I get dressed up?" And they looked at him, and they're like, "Oh, you're perfect." And he was talking about, he's like, "Okay, I wasn't wearing boxers that day, and my overalls had like a hole in them, so at the part where they're like panning up the camera, they had to go in and like edit his fucking balls out because they got it in the recording." And when he was like down talking to everybody, I got my awkward picture with him. I was still an awkward teenager. I was trying to do the hover hand, but he fucking like roped me in. And my phone I was telling him about how much I loved Mega Man, and like literally at that moment, my phone went off, and he answered the phone as Dr. Wily and talked to my mom for like 2 minutes, and that was fucking awesome. Hold on. I'm hearing some bullshit from the living room. I'm gonna make sure the dogs are behaving. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. I had to grab some water too. I was fucking dying. It was just my dog playing with like her jingle rings or whatever. They're made by Nerf. These like 3 big ass rubber rings all connected. They're really nice. Okay.
Mega Man! The evil genius roared. You little pipsqueak! How do you even think about destroying me? I am invincible!
Mega Man shuddered at the sound of the villainous boasting.
Just because you were lucky enough to get past some of my robots, don't think you'll get much further, the voice went on. I've got some surprises for you.
Dr. Wily laughed.
You won't be around much longer, Mega Man, and then I'll rule the universe.
The laughter faded out as the transmission ended. What do you think, Mega Man? Asked Dr. Light. Don't listen to that sneering bully, asked Mega Man. I can take care of anything he throws at me, and I'll destroy him, too. That's murder. You're a human now. That's fucking murder. Hearing Dr. Wily's voice hadn't really scared Mega Man at all, just made him even more eager to get on with the mission. I'm ready to take on my next enemy, Dr. Light, Mega Man, he said. Well, all right, if you're sure about this, said the doctor. He sounded a little worried. Get your weapons ready. You're on your way to Crashman's world. At least they threw that in. Chapter 10. So this is where Crashman hangs out, said Mega Man, looking around. Being in this robot empire was like being in a huge electronic machine. I always kind of saw it as like a building under construction. There was a maze-like network of pipes rising up as far as Mega Man could see. Circuitry blinked as globe-shaped circuit breakers turned off and on. Mega Man heard beeping and buzzing as the system operated. Mega Man tried to plan a route through the machinery. Let's see, he said. If I climb the ladder that runs up along the pipe here, and then jump over to... Just then, Mega Man was attacked by a squad of pipe bombers. Okay, those are the tellies. The tiny robots looked like small sections of pipe that would broken off, grown eyes, and learned to use weapons. And there were a lot of them. They just fly at you. Just shoot them. They moved all around him, twirling around and blinking their eyes as they watched for a chance to attack. Mega Man pulled out his Mega Gun and fired at the small robots. Kapow! Several were hit, but plenty of others took their places. The superhero robot looked around wildly. The ladder he spotted before caught his eye, and he ran to it. Climbing fast, he outdistanced the pipe bombers. But when he got off the ladder, he ran right into the helmet of the helmet heads. The robots were mostly helmet. They looked harmless at first. Then their helmets Mets. Oh my god. Aiming straight at Mega Man with deadly intent. Mega Man returned their fire and kept on running. He could handle one of these guys at a time, but they kept attacking. Who has fucking problem with Mets? This guy is like the biggest wuss in the world. Has he even beaten any of these games? Ahead, he saw a giant circuit board. Is Crashman gonna actually be... Okay, hold on. A Tronic glider rolled around the circuit. The glider was a platform on wheels, just the right size for Mega Man. It rode around the circuit board with no effort, as if by remote control. It didn't make a sound as it wound through its way in the maze of circuitry. Mega Man leapt on as more pipe bombers appeared at his heels. The Tronic glider carried him around the circuit. He fired as he rode, taking time to aim well. Pow! Crash! Pipe bombers were falling quickly now under his fire. Mega Man jumped off the Tronic glider as it passed a ladder leading farther up the pipe framework. He climbed as quickly as he could. Mega Man looked up. The machine was huge. He couldn't even see the top from where he was. 500 feet later, Mega Man was still climbing. His arms were about to give out. He'd gone so high that once again he was reminded of climbing through clouds. He thought of Airman's world. Mega Man kept on climbing. As a bomb bird flew by, it was carrying a bomb. Well, good. They live here too, said Mega Man, ducking as the bombs fell around him. Fucking Vietnam, dude. Holy shit. Then he rose above the highest cloud. Now he was in the stars. Mega Man paused for a moment, hanging onto the ladder. It was dark all of a sudden. He had to wait for his vision to adjust. It was a long way down. Mega Man had never been afraid of heights when he was a robot. And I'm not really afraid now either, he said, as if trying to convince himself. Still, he decided it would be a good idea not to look down. He looked up instead, and saw an energy barrel on the next landing. Perfect timing, he said. I could use a boost. He grabbed the barrel and drank down its contents. Monster energy! Unleash the beast! A surge of energy pushed him even further up the ladder. Mega Man felt better, but was beginning to wonder just how high he was going to climb. He looked up to see if he could spot the top. Instead, he was shocked to see a prop top flying towards him. That was the meanest-looking robot he had seen yet in Crash Man's kingdom. It looked like a giant boxing glove, and flew by means of a propeller attached to its head. When it got close enough to Mega Man, it thrust out a long arm with a fist at the end of it. Pow! Mega Man took a hit right on the jaw, and almost fell off the ladder. Hanging on by his fingertips, he jabbed back. The prop top kept advancing, and another appeared forward. Mega Man aimed again, carefully this time, and hit them both with one quick punch. Kapow-wee! Kapow-wee! Grabbing a moment to look around, Mega Man saw a familiar tower with the big W. I knew it, he said. These guys are guarding Crash Man. Out of my way, boys. I got a date with your master. He blasted past the prop tops and threw open the gates to Crash Man's vault. His enemy was waiting for him. Crash Man wore a red helmet and red boots. His armor gleamed. He held a crash bomber in each hand, waving the weapons in the air like a cowboy at a Wild West shootout. Bombs away, he called, firing at Mega Man. Bombs flew out of the crash bomber and whistled through the air. They crashed to the ground next to Mega Man, exploding in a series of deafening booms. These bombs are big, Crash Man, but I'm too quick for you. Mega Man darted around the room, firing at Crash Man with his Mega Gun. Pow! Pow! Crash Man threw bomb after bomb, but Mega Man was able to dodge them all. You think you're a super robot, but you're nothing but a stink bomb, Mega Man taunted. Fuck! Oh, shit, that's good. You really got him there. Crash Man got angry and threw bombs without even aiming them. Mega Man danced around until he had a good shot at Crash Man. Blam! Boom! Crash Man was destroyed. Mega Man marched over and picked up the crash bomber. He used it to hurl a bomb at the wall of the room. Kaboom! He dusted off his hands and stepped through the huge hole it had made. Another super robot bombs out, he said happily. Use the metal blade to cut through Flashman. They're not wrong, that is his weakness. Well, Flashman's weakness is the crash bomber, and you can kill him with like one really well-positioned bomb. But then it's easier to just wail on him with the metal blade. It's wail on everything with the metal blades. That was stupendous, Mega Man. Dr. Light's voice came through the radio. You truly are incredible. Crash Man was no match for you. He was all noise and no action, answered Mega Man. And now I've got his crash bomber. That's a very powerful weapon, said Dr. Light. I think you'll need it, too. You'll never get through Heat Man's world without it. Heat Man! All right, said Mega Man. I'm all warmed up for him. I'm keying in the password now. Are your weapons ready? Dr. Light asked. Ready. Better get ready to use the jet ski, too, warned Dr. Light. I have a feeling you might need it. Okay, Dr. Light, said Mega Man. Wish me luck. Mega Man heard a faint good luck as the transmission faded out, and suddenly he felt very hot. In fact, he felt like he was about to melt. It was a whole new feeling for him. Robots aren't bothered by extremes of heat. Heat and cold, their circuits adjusted to any temperature they could face. Bullshit. But as he knew all too well by now, Mega Man wasn't a robot anymore. He was a human. And he was hot. Heat-Man's world was like a giant furnace, pulsing with red-hot currents of air. Everything was the color of flame. Mega Man saw nothing but red, orange, and yellow wherever he looked. He reached out to touch a nearby brick wall. I think that's how you would... How would you... Sizz. Now that's what I call hot, Mega Man said, shaking his hand and blowing on it to cool it down. Guess I better keep moving. He ran across a brick pathway, following its twists and turns. On either side of the path was a river of molten lava, boiling and bubbling as it flowed along. It's so hot, whispered Mega Man. I sure could use a dip, but I'm not about to swim in that river. He watched his step. The pathway was narrow, and it would be easy to fall into the lava if he wasn't careful. Mega Man heard something behind him and turned to see what it was. The Prop Tops! They'd followed him all the way into Heat-Man's world. He dodged their fists. If one of them hit him, the blow could knock him into the bubbling river. Take that, he said, firing the metal blade. Zip! Pow! The Prop Tops were blasted off the pathway and fell screaming into the lava. Holy shit! Fell screaming into the lava. The best kid's book ever. But there was one left. It jumped closer to Mega Man. Mega Man backed away, trying to get a clear shot at it. Moving backwards, he couldn't see where he was going. Suddenly, Mega Man stumbled over a loose brick and tumbled head over heels. Have a nice trip, Mega Man, sneered the Prop Top with a wicked laugh. Mega Man tried to catch himself, but there was nothing to grab onto. He fell straight into the fucking lava and died. Wow. That's a hell of a way to end this book. To challenge Dr. Wily, you must complete all 9 missions. Follow the order in this book for best results. Hell fucking no. Chapter 12. Mega Man couldn't believe it. See? It was a trick. I got you. You just got beamed, idiot. Mega Man couldn't believe it. If he had fallen into the lava, it would have meant certain death. Had he come this far to end up a fried superhero, burnt to a crisp in Heat-Man's world. The lava was inches away. Mega Man could feel the heat on his skin. I can feel the heat on my skin. Suddenly a thought came to him. The jet ski. It was his only chance. Mega Man was wearing a special super-secret backpack designed by Dr. Light to hold all of his weapons and tools. He pushed 3 buttons on the special backpack control unit on his sleeve. The tiny jet ski unit popped into his hands. Mega Man could feel the lava rushing towards him, but he pressed the button to unfold it, and then, not a moment too soon, he was aboard the jet ski. He floated on a cushion of air, just inches above the lava river. That was too close for comfort, said Mega Man, wiping his brow. The jet ski zoomed right along the hot lava. A breeze cooled Mega Man's face as he rode. Surf's up, he yelled happily. Mega Man rode for what seemed like hours. I've just about had it with this heat, said Mega Man. I don't know how much longer I can take it. I've got to find Heat-Man and finish him off. Just then, the jet ski screeched to a halt. Right in Mega Man's path was a huge, thick brick wall. I've got to keep going, said Mega Man. I can't let this stop me. He activated the crash bomber and hurled it at the wall. Kaboom! The wall was smashed into like 1,000,000 pieces, and Mega Man was on his way again. Just ahead, he saw a giant glowing W. Sorry, the pages are a little faded. He was almost there. Mega Man blasted through the gates to Heat-Man's headquarters. The ferocious super robot awaited him, his secret weapon, the atomic fire, at the ready. Can you take the heat, Mega Man? Heat-Man called. Heat-Man looked like an ordinary robot, but his steel body was so hot it glowed. The air around him sizzled, but he never felt the heat, since his protective armor kept him cool. The round armor surrounded him like a huge box with a lid he could snap shut when he pulled his head inside. He looked like a square turtle. He's a fucking lighter, dude. He's a Zippo. One of the art books even calls him Zippo Man, I think. Hey, am I... Oh, shit, see? I'm doing my fucking boo beam trap. Even back then, when I wasn't drunk, I'm still doing it the right way. I told you. Follow the way I do the boom beam trap. Mega Man came on strong, jumping high to dodge the blazing fireballs that Heat Man threw. He fired rapidly, blasting away again and again. The atomic fire threw a whole string of fireballs at him. The flaming globes came so fast, they were hard to dodge. Mega Man's eyebrows were singed. His uniform was smoking, but he didn't give up. Blam! Boom! Pow! Finally, it was over. Heat Man was just a pile of ashes. "That ought to cool your jets," said Mega Man. He picked up the atomic fire and signaled for Dr. Light. "Congratulations, Mega Man," said Dr. Light over the radio. "You really kept your cool in there." "Heat Man wasn't such hot stuff," said Mega Man. "But I sure am glad to be out of that furnace. Boy, am I glad that he's in there, and we're out here, and we're in there, and he's in there, and I'm out here, and he's the sheriff." "Dr. Wily is mad as hell," said Dr. Light. "You should have heard him on the news beam this time. He's furious, and he's out to get you." "I'll be dealing with him soon enough, as soon as I get through the last two superhero robot empires," said Mega Man. "It won't be long till we're face to face, and personally, I can't wait. I'm gonna beat him." "That's the spirit, Mega Man," said Dr. Light. "Sounds like you're ready to take on Whoopman. Better get equipped." Mega Man checked his weapons as Dr. Light's voice faded out. He felt ready for anything. Kind of wet my whistle here. Chapter 13. Boom, 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 boom. The drums echo. Oh, okay. The drums echoed through the jungle. Mega Man's blood ran cold. Woodman's world was like no other place Mega Man had ever seen. It didn't look like the machine-filled world of Metal Man or the broken-down buildings that were Flashman's empire. This was a deep, dark jungle, alive with a million creatures who jumped from tree to tree, going about their business. Shrieks and chatters rang from above as Mega Man tried to get his bearings. It was hot and humid in Woodman's world. Mega Man wiped his brow, and he checked his weapon's energy levels, powered them up, and began to find his way through the dense overgrowth. Suddenly, out of the bushes popped a giant, evil-looking rabbit.
What's up, Doc?"
It called to Mega Man, firing its carrot-shaped missiles at the superhero. One of these days, yep. "What's up, Doc?" What are our directions? What are cardinal directions? Holy shit. Right there. "What's up, Doc?" I wasn't fucking with you. "Robo-Rabbit," said Mega Man. Oh shit. There's a page missing. "Robo-Rabbit," said Mega Man. Dr. Light had... Mega Man looked around. There, not far ahead of him, was a giant... Well, that's it. Hang on. No, the page is actually gone. So we're going from 43 to 46. That doesn't make any sense. Is that two pages missing? Are they stuck together? They're like stuck together, and if I'm trying to pull on them, I don't want to tear this book, so we're going to have to just skip to 46. Mega Man looked around. There, not far ahead of him, was a giant W blinking through the leaves. How ironic we miss out on the rabbit part. It looked like every single one of Dr. Wily's evil robots had a sign over his headquarters. "Here I come, Woodman!" yelled Mega Man as he ran through the jungle. I just have to, like, interrupt reality real quick. Sync, I see what you're saying about my Digimon video. I can't answer you right now. And I don't even know why I'm saying this because it's pre-recorded, but just to date this video. You bitch. Oh my god, I'm sorry. He was getting used to the beat of the drums. Boom, ba-boom, boom, boom, ba-boom, boom. They were louder than ever. What a great beat, said Mega Man. Too bad I don't have any time to dance. Then Mega Man saw an atomic chicken leaping towards him. The atomic chickens ran around like real chickens with their heads cut off. They were very dangerous. If this one hit him, it would explode on contact. Mega Man wasn't about to let a chicken slow him down. He jumped and ran over it. Another one popped up, and Mega Man dodged that one too. Finally, he reached the gates of Woodman's chamber. The super robot lived inside a giant tree. Mega Man blasted his way inside. Woodman stood waiting, his leaf shield at the ready. Want a splinter, Mega Man? He snickered. Huge green leaves surrounded him, swirling all around. The leaves gathered together and flew towards him. Their edges were razor sharp. So that's how the leaf shield works, thought Mega Man. He dove and was able to dodge the leaves just in time. Woodman pounded his chest and roared. He was made entirely of wood, but that didn't stop him from yelling and carrying on like a jungle beast. Mega Man fired back, using the metal blade. Woodman ignored the flying blades. The metal weapons seemed to have no effect on him. Bull fucking shit, they don't. You can wreck his ass with the metal blades. Even on the original Japanese version. Mega Man switched to his Mega Guns. Leaves were flying towards him, making it hard to see. He took the best aim he could and fired. The leaves kept coming. Woodman was jumping all over the place, beating on his chest and bellowing loudly. Mega Man didn't give up. He kept on firing. Kablam! Pow! Finally, with one last bellow, Woodman fell to the earth. The drums stopped. All was quiet in the jungle. You'll make a lovely footstool, said Mega Man, as he took the leaf shield from Woodman. Chapter 14. Excellent, Mega Man! Excellent! Dr. Light's voice crackled over the radio. Destroying Woodman was as easy as a falling log, crowed Mega Man. I wondered what Dr. Wily has to say now that I've exterminated all but one of his so-called superbots. He stayed off the news beam, said Dr. Light. I bet he's preparing for your arrival at his castle of evil. That's kind of cool, actually. And he's pretty mad by now. Well, I hope he's expecting company soon, said Mega Man. I'll be on his way to his castle as soon as I take care of Quick Man. Don't get overconfident now, Mega Man, warned Dr. Light. Remember what I told you about Quick Man. He can be very dangerous. I know, Dr. Light. Don't worry, I'll be careful. All right then, get your weapons ready, said Dr. Light. Did they think that was like the catchphrase? Password is keyed in. Give my regards to Quick Man. He's like a British man now. Quick Man's world was dark and quiet. Mega Man found himself in a giant abandoned factory, full of huge silent machines. The superhero robot walked on tiptoe. He didn't want to make any noise that might draw attention to himself. He picked his way through the enormous power plant in the center of the factory. Mega Man looked around nervously. It was too quiet here. Was somebody or something sneaking up on him? Then, up ahead, he saw an opening in the floor. An abandoned elevator shaft. Maybe that's my way out of this nasty factory, he said, jumping down to the shaft. The shaft was very deep. It was very large, even. It was a good shaft. A nice, sturdy shaft. Mega Man left from ledge to ledge, moving down, down, down. Whoosh! A beam of light shot across the shaft. Yikes, said Mega Man. Quick Man must have some kind of electric eye watching me. Whoosh! Another one shot across, missing Mega Man by inches. Better keep moving, said Mega Man. Could be a laser beam. I don't want to get hit by one of those. He continued to strip downward. Whoosh! 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 Beams shot past him every second now. Mega Man decided to get out of the shaft and check his position. He squeezed through a small trapdoor and found himself on another floor of the same quiet factory. It was a relief to be out of the way of those beams, but once again Mega Man felt nervous. It was so quiet. Walking carefully, Mega Man approached a small square box on the ground. Just as he was about to walk past it, the top of the box flew open and a grinning Jack-in-the-Box popped out. Boing! It smiled at Mega Man and raised its weapon to fire. Yow! Said Mega Man, ducking as the Jack-in-the-Box fired at him. That's the kind of surprise I can do without. He ran past the box without even watching where he was going, and suddenly he stopped short. Right in front of him was a mean-looking robot with flames shooting out of the top of his head. He was about 3 feet tall, and he was wearing a tuxedo. He was wearing a tuxedo. It was Hothead, and he didn't look like he was going to move aside for Mega Man. To kill the Woodman, Watch out for his shield and use Atomic Fire's charged attack. That is true. That is a one-hit KO. Chapter 15. Where are you going in such a hurry? Hissed Hothead. Cool your jets. Chill out. I'm on my way to meet Quickman, your boss, said Mega Man. Out of my way. Hothead didn't answer. He just nodded towards Mega Man and shot flames out of his head. Mega Man jumped back. So you think you're hot stuff, huh? He asked. Didn't we go over this in the Heat Man? He fired the metal blade at Hothead. Whiz! Zip! The flame went out as Hothead fell to the floor. Mega Man stepped over the fallen robot and headed back to the elevator shaft. I think it was safer in here, he said, jumping back down into it. This time the light beam started shooting very close to him. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I have really bad acid reflux because I eat, like, Cajun food all the time. So, sorry. My tongue looks like fucking the beaches in Normandy. Mega Man barely had any time to dodge one beam before the next shot across the shaft. He knew that being hit by one of the beams could mean certain death. Whoosh, whoosh. That last one really came too close for comfort. How am I going to get out of here alive? He thought for a moment. Then his eyes lit up. The Time Stopper! He activated his secret backpack and took out the weapon he got from Flashman. Since he barely used it, its energy level still read high. Whoosh! Another beam shot by, grazing Mega Man's arm. Whoo! The next beam was frozen in time. Mega Man grinned. He was safe. Mega Man kept climbing down, activating the Time Stopper whenever he needed to. The light beams were nothing but a nuisance now. Real fucking Chads go through with, nothing. It would be so bullshit if you could actually turn the Time Stopper on and off. I'm so mad that the Time Stopper wasn't an alt in Smash. One of my friend's favorite colors is purple, so it's just like, I feel so bad for him that he can't, like, because I use either the regular Mega Man color or like the Ice Slasher color. My friend who lives with me uses the Metal Blade colors, and then our other friend uses green. But yeah, it's like we could have all had our own color of Mega Man if they would have put in purple as an alt. When I modded my Wii U version of Smash Brothers, I put in the helmetless Mega Man, unarmored Mega Man, and like a bunch of different colors. He looked around. There was the giant W, right in front of him. Time for Quickman. Mega Man entered the gates. The last of the 8 super robots awaited him. Quickman stood 4 feet tall, fucking manlet, but it was still hard to see him. He moved so fast that he was mostly a blur. The first thing Mega Man noticed were the horns on Quickman's head. The second was the weapon in his hand. The horned robot aimed his infamous quick boomerang and threw it hard. Thousands of steel blades, whirling so fast they whistled, came closer and closer on the wings of the boomerang. I'll have you finished off in no time, Quickman cried. Mega Man ducked. Quickman was so fast. Mega Man fired back with his Mega Gun. Quickman kept on coming. Would the Metal Blade work? Of course it would fucking work. Mega Man aimed and fired, ducking the deadly boomerangs flying through the air. But Quickman kept on coming. It's got to be the Crash Bomber, Mega Man said. That'll take care of him. A quick press of the button on his sleeve and the Crash Bomber was in his hand. Kaboom! The noise echoed through the room. Mega Man launched another bomb and another. The noise was deafening and the room was full of smoke. And then the noise stopped, the smoke cleared away. Quickman was destroyed. Well, I guess I slowed you down, Quickman, said Mega Man. Permanently! He helped himself to the quick boomerang. And now it's on to the Castle of Evil, he said. Watch out, Dr. Wily. Here I come. Oh, hold on. Let me get rid of that. Alright, now I gotta keep wiggling the mouse every once in a while. I'm gonna put something on here. Just so it doesn't time out the screen. You've done it now, Mega Man, Dr. Light's voice sang out over the radio. It's incredible. You've destroyed every robot Dr. Wily put in your path. The job's not over yet, Mega Man reminded the doctor. I've got to finish off the evil genius himself. The universe is still in grave danger. Yes, it's true, said Dr. Light. Dr. Wily is still very much alive. Just this morning he flew over my lab in his flying saucer. He hovered there for a while, yelling through his bullhorn. What did he say? Asked Mega Man. Oh, he was threatening me, said Dr. Light. He said I should call you off the job, or else. I'm trying to imagine this scene. Fucking Wily in his saucer, wiggling his eyebrows, talking mad shit into a fucking bullhorn. Fuck you, Dr. Light! Call off your boy! Fuck. Jesus Christ. He's probably just scared, said Mega Man. He knows I'm on my way to his castle of evil, and now that he's seen me make mincemeat of his super robots, he seemed more angry than scared, to tell you the truth, said Dr. Light. But I know I can't stop you now. I'll key in the password for the castle if you're ready. Ready, Mega Man said loudly. One more thing, said Dr. Light. Dr. Wily has placed electronic barriers in his castle wall. Once you enter the castle, you and I will not be able to communicate, but I'll be watching you on the monitor. Good luck, Mega Man, said Dr. Light. Keep your wits about you and watch for booby traps. Right there. Right here. Where's it at? Where's it at? Shit. Fucking... Oh, it was on this side. There he is talking mad shit. And booby. Where is the lens on my camera? Booby. Right there. Booby. You would think that it's like... Okay. Yep. There's the lens. Maybe if I was not bullshitting around every 5 seconds, this video would be over, but that's half the fun. I'm really like opening up for this, and it's kind of nice. As Dr. Light's voice faded out, Mega Man found himself standing alone, looking up at Dr. Wily's Castle of Evil. The castle was terrifying. It was built of skulls and bones. The eye holes in the skulls glowed red. Huge radar antennas were aimed in all directions. Dr. Wily must be watching me approach his castle, said Mega Man. He stuck out his tongue and waved his fingers in the air. Nya nya, here I come, he shouted. Oh, the Marvel vs. Capcom taunt, I see. And then he ran towards the castle and began to climb the outer wall. He climbed quickly, reaching the first turret in no time. After that, the climbing was a little slower. Dr. Wily sent out his forces. First, the bomb birds. Then... Huh? Every time he... That page was totally fucked. Every time he tried to rest, another one of Dr. Wily's guard robots would appear out of nowhere. They wore red armor that looked like a special uniform. Mega Man couldn't see their faces, since their helmets were equipped with shiny black faceplates. They could see out, but he couldn't see in. Mega Man fought his way through them, using the leaf shield to hurl razor-sharp blades, then the air shooter to fire deadly tornadoes. Oh, he's talking about Sniper Joes. I always thought they were Cyclopses, honestly. One time I was the Sniper Joe for Halloween, because my dad used to ride a motorcycle, so he always had helmets laying around. So I literally got like a green like sweatshirt and sweatpants from Walmart, like snow boots, a cardboard shield, and literally like a cardboard gun. And I was the Sniper Joe one year. Finally, Mega Man reached the top of the castle wall. Then he began to run. It was dark by now, but he couldn't even slow down. He had to keep moving, even if it was hard to see. He raced from brick to brick. Suddenly, Mega Man heard a train behind him. A train? What's a train doing on top of the castle? He turned to look. It wasn't a train. It was a dragon. A very big dragon, breathing fire. I, too, mistake trains for dragons. Mega Man leapt to a ledge and grabbed the quick boomerang. He aimed and fired. The dragon barely slowed down. The immense creature began to shoot fireballs out of his mouth. Mega Man was knocked off his ledge. The dragon was fired again. Mega Man tumbled down to a lower ledge and stayed still. The dragon came closer to make sure that Mega Man was finished off. Mega Man jumped to his feet. "Surprise, motherfucker!" he yelled. The dragon reared up in shock. Mega Man took careful aim and fired the quick boomerang again, this time right at the dragon's stomach. The dragon fell back. Mega Man fired again and again. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The boomerang smashed into the dragon over and over. Finally, the fireball stopped coming. A bright white light flashed in Mega Man's eyes. The dragon had been slain. You need to freeze time to beat Quick Man. Chapter 17. Mega Man collapsed on a nearby brick wall. "Now that was a close one," he said. "I wasn't expecting a dragon." Nobody answered him. He longed to hear Dr. Light's voice congratulating him on a job well done. It was lonely here in the castle. But his radio fell silent. It was time to move on. Mega Man looked around, not sure which way to go next. The castle was gloomy and dark. The only light came from the glowing red eye holes of a giant skull that loomed over him. Mega Man felt like Dr. Wily was just waiting and watching. It was a creepy feeling. He decided to keep going. Right in front of him, he saw a huge iron gate that led to the inside of a tower. Mega Man decided to try opening it. Fuck it. As soon as he touched it, it flew open. Mega Man stepped inside. "Whoa!" said Mega Man as he slid down a long chute. Whomp. He landed at the bottom. "Dr. Light warned me about booby traps." Boobs twice. There's two boobs. He said to himself. "Guess I better be more careful." Mega Man began to walk along the dark tunnel he found himself in. "I must be in the basement of the castle," he said. "Guess I'll just follow my nose." Boing! Just about the same time as Mega Man said nose, something reached out and punched him hard, right in his nose. It was a prop top. Mega Man saw that it had its fist cocked again. He didn't feel like getting hit, so he ducked. The prop top fell over when his swing only met air. Mega Man didn't waste any time. He kept on going through the tunnel. More prop tops attacked him, but he didn't let him slow him down. "Dr. Wily called out all his forces, I guess," he said. Suddenly he stumbled and almost fell. He caught himself by grabbing onto a ring in the wall beside him. Then he looked down. "Just in time," he said. There was no more floor where he'd been walking. Where the floor used to be were nasty-looking spikes lining the path through the tunnel. Mega Man thought about turning back, but it would just mean fighting his way through the prop tops again. "I know," he said. "The jet ski." He activated his backpack and assembled the ski in seconds. It worked perfectly. Mega Man zoomed along only inches above the spikes. The jet ski screeched to a halt in front of a high wall. Mega Man looked the wall over. There was a tiny window in it way up high. He rode the jet ski up and looked through the window. Behind the wall was an energy barrel. "I sure could use that," he said. He activated the crash bomber and threw a bomb at the wall. Kaboom! The wall exploded loudly, but the wall was still standing. Mega Man threw 3 more bombs. Kaboom! 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 Finally, the wall came tumbling down. Mega Man grabbed the energy barrel and drained its contents. Then he hopped back on the jet ski and kept riding through the tunnel. The jet ski flew through a tiny door and stopped. Mega Man got off just as the door slammed shut behind him and sealed, so he couldn't even see where the doorway was. He looked around and saw that he was in a small square room with no doors or windows. "This must be the dungeon," he said. "Dr. Wily means to make a prisoner out of me. There must be a way out, though." He looked for an exit. "Maybe there, near the top," said Mega Man as he started to climb a wall. He had only gone a few feet when huge bricks flew out of the wall, aimed straight for his head. He jumped back to the floor. More booby traps! Oh, 3 boobs. It's that chick from, Kung Pao. It's not going to be so easy getting out. Bricks were flying out of the wall at top speed now, missing him by inches as he ducked and dodged. The noise was terrible. As the bricks crashed against the walls of the tiny room. "What I need now is a burst of energy," Mega Man said. He grabbed an energy pellet and swallowed it. There, he charged up his metal blade. "Jailbreak!" yelled Mega Man, climbing up the wall. As bricks flew towards him, he fired away with the metal blade, blowing them to bits in midair. As he neared the top of the wall, he could see a tiny trapdoor in the ceiling. "Here's where I make my exit," he said, squeezing through. When he was free, he paused for a moment to catch his breath. Then he laughed out loud. "Paging Dr. Wily!" he yelled. "Paging Dr. Wily! This is Mega Man, and I'm on my way!" To get to Heat Man, use the C weapon to cut through the wall. Oh, the crash bombs. Chapter 18. Mega Man was closing in on Dr. Wily. Let's see, which way now? He asked himself. Up ahead he saw the castle's moat. Maybe I'll find Dr. Wily's laboratory if I dive down and look for a secret entrance, he said. Without pause, he jumped in. He swam and swam and swam. At first, the moat seemed empty. Mega Man thought there might be alligators in it, but he saw nothing. Oh, hold on. Hey. Yes, we do. This is why I gotta start editing my videos, my girlfriend called. At first, the moat seemed empty. Mega Man had thought there might be alligators in it, but then he saw nothing. They must live in the very bottom of the moat, thought Mega Man. He swam fast, trying to figure out which weapon to use against the fish, which was following him closely. Bubble lead, he cried. Of course. He fired the heavy bubble. The fish exploded with a muffled ba-boom. Mega Man felt the waves of water wash past him. That bubble lead is powerful stuff, he said. And because it belonged to Bubble Man, it works well underwater. Mega Man kept on swimming. Finally, he found the secret entrance he had been looking for. Mega Man crashed through the door and raced through the passageway inside, using the leaf shield to blast his way past Dr. Wily's guards. Still going strong, he crashed through another door and came to a screeching halt. He hadn't found the secret laboratory. He had stumbled into Guts Dozer's garage. So this is where Dr. Wily keeps Guts Dozer, he said. Is it something that he just, like... Okay. I always thought it was funny that Dr. Wily had this, like, weird obsession with Guts Man. How, like, every couple Mega Man games, it feels like you're fighting, like, Mega Man 1. The final level is just, like, full of cloned Gutsmans in the wall. Or, like, Mega Man 2, you fight the Guts Dozer. Mega Man 3, Gamma kinda looks like Gutsman. Mega Man 7 has, like, the... What they call it? Like, Gutmonger Z or something? Anyway. Rolling towards him on huge steel tracks was the most gigantic, biggest robot Mega Man had ever seen. He looked like half-giant, half-bulldozer combination. His eyes flashed with anger as he rolled towards Mega Man, waving his huge fists in the air. His orange armor glowed, and the giant spikes coming out of his shoulders looked like they had just been sharpened. Guts Dozer was big. Guts Dozer was mean, and Guts Dozer was coming straight for Mega Man. He made a thunderous noise. Mega Man felt very tiny all of a sudden, but he knew he must destroy the Guts Dozer. He tried every weapon he had. The air shooter didn't even make Guts Dozer blink. Bullshit. The atomic fire bounced off his solid steel body. The quick boomerang didn't even make a dent. Well, if you use your fucking auto fire you used earlier, the quick boomerang fucks him up in seconds. Guts Dozer kept on rolling. I'll squish you flat, Mega Man, he roared. He ran right over the bubble lead that Mega Man threw. The metal blade just didn't seem powerful enough either. The time stopper might buy me some time, said Mega Man, but it won't destroy this guy. The only weapon I have left is the Crash Bomber. Let's hope this works. I think that actually might be his weakness, but I just spam the boomerangs and fuck his shit up. Guts Dozer was roaring even closer now. He was about to roll right over Mega Man and squash him flat. Here I come, Mega Man, he shouted thunderously. There was a bright flash. Oh, sorry, jumped ahead. Mega Man crossed his fingers and aimed the Crash Bomber. Kaboom! There was a bright flash. Mega Man closed his eyes so he wouldn't be blinded. When he opened them, Guts Dozer was gone. He fucking blew him up with one bomb. Mega Man turned to leave Guts Dozer's Guts garage. He could see now that it wasn't going to be so simple to get to Dr. Wily. This castle really was full of booby traps. Never mind, we got 2 pairs of boobs again. If only Dr. Light could talk to me, said Mega Man out loud. But I know he's watching. At least I know he knows I'm still alive. Mega Man felt stronger just thinking about Dr. Light. He didn't feel so alone in the castle anymore. It was time to start climbing up out of the lower depths of the castle. Looking up, Mega Man spotted a series of long, long ladders leading up out of the basement. "Here goes," he said, beginning to climb. He was getting good at climbing by now, but it was still hard work. Mega Man struggled up the ladder. He reached the top of the first ladder and began to run along the walkway to the next one. Suddenly, he heard the sound of static. Was Dr. Light trying to reach him? Mega Man knew that was impossible. Then, a loud voice spoke from every corner of the room.
"Mega Man, this is Dr. Wily speaking. Do you read me?"
"Yes, I do," said Mega Man.
"I have been watching you," said the voice. "You are quite the fighter, but you might as well give up now because you won't get me."
"You don't scare me, Dr. Wily," said Mega Man, "and you better watch out because I'm on my way." Mega Man ran along the walkway and through the nearest door. He had to find Dr. Wily, but instead of a hallway, Mega Man found himself in a small room with at least 20 doors, and every door was locked.
"Ha ha ha!" laughed the voice of Dr. Wily. "Good luck finding me, you pest!"
Mega Man ignored Dr. Wily's voice. He took his crash bomber and threw bombs at every door in turn. As each door was blasted down, Mega Man saw there was nothing behind it. It was a trick. He was trapped. At last, there was only one door left. He aimed the crash bomber and let a bomb fly. The door flew apart and Mega Man stepped through it. "This might not be the right way, but it's my only chance," he said. This kind of makes me think about the Mega Man X episode of the cartoon where, like, Mega Man X is weirdly fucking, like, weirdly violent. Mega Man looked around. He was in another room now, a room with 9 doors, or hatches, really, leading out of it. All of the hatches were blinking brightly. "This must be Dr. Wily's teleport system," he said, because that's what's blinking in the fucking background. "All I have to do is pick the right hatch and I'll be face to face with Dr. Wily himself." Mega Man looked at all the hatches. "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo," he counted. Then he jumped into the one he'd chosen. "Oh no," he yelled. "Not you again." Airman stood in the center of the room, hurling tornadoes at Mega Man. Dr. Wily had created a clone of each robot. But Mega Man wasn't about to be stopped. "I destroyed you once, I can destroy you again," he said. It was a short fight. In just a few seconds, Mega Man came out of the hatch, dusting off his hands. "I let the air out of him," he said, jumping into the next hatch. In every hatch he tried, Mega Man found another of Dr. Wily's super robots. It seemed he was going to have to fight them all again before he could meet their creator. He canceled Crash Man. He blew up Bubble Man. He mowed down Metal Man. He flattened Flash Man. He wiped out Wood Man. He made Quick Man quit. And finally, he harpooned Heat Man. All the super robots were history. It was time to face Dr. Wily. Mega Man jumped into the last hatch. It was pitch black. Mega Man couldn't see his hand in front of his face. Where was Dr. Wily? Suddenly, a giant spaceship appeared out of nowhere. It was enormous. Mega Man was startled. He had expected to see the evil doctor, but instead it looked like he was going to be battling aliens. The spaceship fired at him with both cannons. Mega Man ducked and fired back with the metal blade. Zip! Pow-wee! The flying blades crashed into the ship. And then the cannons stopped firing. The spaceship shuddered, and a bubble-shaped flying saucer lifted off from the top of it. Mega Man stood watching, his mouth open in amazement. The top of the saucer lifted up to reveal Dr. Wily's evil face. His mouth was twisted in a mean smile. He raised his eyebrows. "Yes! They mentioned it!" And waved at Mega Man. "So long!" Dr. Wily cried as the saucer flew off. "No!" shouted Mega Man. "I won't let you get away this time." He ran after the saucer, following it as it flew down a tunnel. Soon he lost sight of it, but he kept on running down the tunnel. Acid dripped from the ceiling, sizzling horribly onto the floor below. It slowed Mega Man down, since he had to time his steps carefully to avoid it. Finally, he switched on the time stopper, and the acid was frozen mid-drip. What a bitch! Mega Man speeded up again and kept on running. Then he tumbled head over heels into a black void. Stars shone all around him. It was as if he'd been transported into outer space. He didn't see the flying saucer anywhere. Had he lost Dr. Wily after all this time? And then a huge green mutant alien appeared in front of his eyes. Mega Man jumped back. The alien came closer. Mega Man grabbed the first weapon he could lay his hands on. Bubble lead. Bullshit. You did not figure that out your first try. He shot it at the alien, but the alien kept coming. Mega Man fired again and again. Blam! Kapow! Suddenly, there was a super bright flash of light. Mega Man covered his eyes. Had he destroyed the alien? He was almost afraid to look and find out. Slowly, he took his hands off his eyes. He wasn't in outer space anymore. He was in Dr. Wily's laboratory. Dr. Wily had created a mirage to scare Mega Man, but Mega Man had destroyed it with the bubble lead, and Dr. Wily himself was on the floor by Mega Man's feet, begging for mercy. It was over at last. Mega Man had won. To get to Heat Man, use the C weapon to crack through the wall. That's just the same hint. Mega Man, I thank you, said Dr. Light. My family thanks you. Wait. My family thanks you. The world thanks you. The universe thanks you. You are the greatest superhero of them all. I'm just reminded of a Joel video I watched the other night where there was this Swedish singer who sang songs about video games, and apparently he thought Super Mario was actually like Superman. It's just, I mean, I can't hate this too much. It's kind of like Captain N. I'm not going to defend Captain N, but all they had at the time was like one game. Like, sure, you get the fuck-ups, like Simon Belmont is absolutely nothing like the Simon Belmont in-game, but for Mega Man, as horrible as a depiction of him as it is, I mean, obviously with the Ruby Spears Mega Man, Capcom actually helped out, but if you had the rights to it, then I could honestly see, like, Mega Man was an honest mistake in Captain N, and that's, like, the least of that show's problems. Mega Man had turned Dr. Wily over to Dr. Light for justice. The evil genius was still begging for mercy, but Mega Man knew that Dr. Light was planning to put him in prison for the next 1 billion years. On what authority? Am I allowed to arrest people then? Mega Man, you did an excellent job, said Dr. Light, but you look tired. If you were still a robot, you would never be tired. Would you like me to turn you back into a robot? No way, said Mega Man. I like being human. When I was a robot, I never had any feelings. When I was fighting my way through Dr. Wily's robots, I had lots of feelings. I was worried, I was lonely, sometimes I was even sad. Dr. Light nodded. But why does that make you like being human? Those aren't the greatest feelings in the world, you know. I know, said Mega Man. But now I have some other feelings, and they are the greatest feelings in the world. I feel happy and proud and cared for. It's great to have feelings. He paused for a moment. But since I'm not a robot anymore, there's something else I feel too, he went on. You were right. I am just a little tired. I think I need a short vacation. Dr. Light laughed. Of course, Mega Man, of course, he said. Now that you've taken care of Dr. Wily, the universe should be safe for quite a while. Have a good time. Mega Man started walking, thinking about his home as he walked. He thought of his little village in the mountains. He thought about how beautiful it looked in the winter when the snow fell all around. He thought about how it looked in the fall when the leaves turned golden and red. He thought about how it looked in the summer with green everywhere he looked. And soon he was there. He looked down on his village from where he stood, high on a hill. It was spring, and flowers bloomed all over the hillside. Mega Man took off his helmet and threw it aside. He ran down the hill, straight towards his comfortable little home sweet home. The end. Dear reader, I hope you enjoyed reading Mega Man 2. Here is a list of some other books you might like. The Forgotten Door by Alexander Key. Have Spacesuit, Will Travel by Robert Heinlein. How to Eat Fried Worms by Thomas Rockwell. I actually read that in the 4th grade. I, Robot by Isaac Asimov. My Robot Buddy by Alfred Sloat. The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. You can find these books at your local library or bookstore. Ask your teacher or librarian for other books you might enjoy. Best wishes, FX9. So, like I said, it's so easy to make fun of this, but I'm not going to, because this was what they had at the time. And it wasn't like today where you can just like Wikipedia or Google anything. And you have to see it from like, you have to be able to put yourselves into that period of time. It's so easy to laugh at it now because it's stupid, and it is. But that wasn't so bad. I mean, like, granted, it was terrible. It was horrible. But let's say Mega Man never went off the NES. Let's say, because originally there wasn't even going to be a Mega Man 3. But Mega Man 2 just sold so stupid, crazy fucking much. They made a Mega Man 3, and then they made a Mega Man 4, and it just kept going. But imagine if Mega Man had never left the NES. Heart-wrenching. But I could honestly see some of the it's like the name of the game back then was like, you know, oh, that kind of looks weird. But so I got a couple more of these, and if people like this one, I'll be doing more of those in the future. The other ones I have are Blaster Master and I believe Power Blade. So be ready for those.